I would say that you have maybe about 300,000. Congratulations.
Hold on just a minute.
The feeling hits differently when you open a box to discover an item or treasure. Little wonder why Storage Wars had a large following despite showing for about a decade. Storage Wars was televised for the first time on December 1st, 2010 as an American reality television competition series. The highlight and twist of the show is the fact that interested persons would have to bid on the content of a box. The thought of discovering something valuable or worthwhile is enough push to make people want to try their luck. So it's understandable for fans to ask questions when the show didn't return after the 12th season without a heads up. So, what really happened, and what were the reasons why Storage Wars ended? Let's dig in.
The value, in my opinion, is it would be worth $2,500. That's good news, huh?
Here's how the show works. When rent is not paid for 3 months by owners of storage lockers in California, the auctioneer can sell the content in the form of a cash-only option. So, the show features professional buyers who move across states in search of lockers that are up for bidding. Before the auction commences, buyers are allowed to inspect the contents from afar without making any direct contact with the locker. At the end of the auction, the winners would look through the locker, estimating the worth of each item and setting a price that best suits each item. In some cases, external experts are consulted to get an appraisal of unusual items. The show goes further to reveal the estimated on-show value and then the eventual market value. At the end of the episode, a final tally is conducted to summarize the buyer's net profit or loss. However, the show avoids digging into the behind-the-scenes story or the identity of the original owners of the locker to keep the series a mystery ultimately. As it stands, A&E has denied fans wholesome entertainment after the show stopped airing. That was, of course, after becoming a worldwide success. A lot of people were expecting a return after the last episode of Season 12 aired on January 30th, 2019. If there is anything the hiatus has caused, then it has to be the gradual loss of interest from fans. Some have had enough of the wait, concluding the show will never air again. While no official statement has been made about the break, most cast members have equally been elusive about answering questions concerning the halt. However, during an interview in 2020, Renee and Casey Nezhoda reacted to questions thrown at them, saying A&E moved on from the show. The couple also explained that the network invited them to feature in a series from a remote location to fit the COVID-19 guidelines. The two turned down the invite, claiming it didn't fit their expectation. While they hinted at the possibilities of the show knocking off again, some other cast of the show stated A&E doesn't have future plans for Storage Wars. However, the claim of the Nezhodas suggests the possibility of Storage Wars' return. While we can't bank on that claim, conceivably, the network might be looking to create another series, but will return Storage Wars to our screens once the new series accrues the desired ratings. So, the hopes of seeing Season 13 might not be dead after all. Meanwhile, the show announced the premiere of the 13th season in early 2021. The announcement made a lot of fans happy, even though the series had clearly lost some of the old buyers. Sadly, in the end, all hopes were dashed when the show didn't air. Following the disappointment of the show's fans, more speculation trailed the show, attributing the hiatus to problems such as bad blood among cast members, TV ratings, etc. Among other speculations, one that particularly interests us is that most of the show's former stars have left the business. The combination of the cast members brightens the dynamics of the show, and it really helped to record an outstanding success. It's rather unfortunate that after the show's last episode, most of these delectable members have left the reselling game to focus on other things altogether. Apparently, it is only the Nezhoda and other co-stars like Dave Hester, who has since created his own show called Dave Hester Auctioneer, that are still in the reselling business. But others like the father and son team Daryl and Brandon Sheets have quit the reselling job. Kenny, Do It Crossley, another fan favorite, has also abandoned the Storage Wars to focus on his music and podcasting careers. On top of that, a former married couple, Brandy Passante and Jared Schulz, divorced after their last feature on the show. However, judging by their online presence, none of them appears to be working in that line of business anymore. Similarly, Barry Weiss, aka The Collector, has left the storage bidding game behind, following his recovery from a harrowing motorcycle accident. The fact that so many dynamic Storage Wars cast members have moved on to other things in their life could be the inhibiting factor stopping the show from airing. Even if the show should introduce other cast members in place of the old cast, the show might not be able to maintain the initial ratings. The action they brought to the show could just be unparalleled. Another possible reason the show ended could be because none of the Storage Wars spin-offs did remarkably well. When reality shows get impressive recognition, several spin-offs arise to create another show in the same format, primarily banking on the popularity and TV ratings of the initial show. Creating spin-offs is usually followed by high expectations. So, before leaving Storage Wars, Barry Weiss started his own spin-off show, Buried Treasure, where the veteran collector hunts for antiques and other valuable items for resale across the country. Unfortunately, the show could only survive a season before cancellation despite Barry's popularity. This story is the same for all other Storage Wars spin-offs. None of them saw the light of day. This could be a compelling reason why the reselling franchise has been on ice. The then couple, Brandy and Jared, also had their own standalone show, Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job, but it took the same route as Buried Treasure and ended after a single season. Likewise, Storage Wars also tried to repeat the original success by introducing location-specific spin-off shows to the franchise. For instance, Storage Wars Texas, which actually did fairly as the spin-off managed to reel out 3 seasons, the others did not fare as much. On the contrary, the New York edition only lasted 2 seasons, while that of Miami was only on the air for 1 season. Even the Canadian version, known in the US as Storage Wars Northern Treasures, stopped showing after just 2 seasons ever since its airing. Meanwhile, the truth is the inability to implement a successful spin-off series doesn't necessarily mean the parent series is flopping, but the fact that Storage Wars was not able to make any of its many attempts stand the test of time could be a pointer to the fact that the legs of the franchise were not as grounded as they appeared. Moving forward, another thing that could have stopped the show is the allegations of fraud. By the way, the most damaging allegations came from a show's cast member, Dave Hester, who sued those involved with Storage Wars for wrongful termination and other violations against him. In his claim, Dave filed that the show's producers regularly engaged in fraudulent activities such as planting valuable items in storage lockers, which were later presented to viewers as authentic surprise discoveries, as well as staging auctions. He also alleged that when he addressed the evil perpetrated on the show, he was subsequently laid off from the show. Surprisingly, Dave returned, and the show continued airing for several more seasons. Nevertheless, Storage Wars was not able to shake off the stain of inauthenticity, which is something that could have contributed to the gloomy end of the series. Apparently, fraud allegations and failed spin-offs didn't do the show any good. But trying to be optimistic, anything could happen. Plus, considering when the series first premiered in 2010, it took the format of shows that focused on resell and pawn shop industries. Shows like Pawn Stars and American Pickers, which premiered around the same time, are still on the air. Likewise, some long-running popular shows of the genre, such as Antiques Roadshow. The premise of Storage Wars is what viewers clearly love because of its uniqueness, and considering the show is positioned in a still thriving genre, it's not too ridiculous to imagine there is a possible comeback. In the interview with TV show's Ace, the Nazoda couple even hinted at the fact that they would be interested in returning if there is an opportunity. While speaking about whether they would work on another season, they said, "We would participate if it makes sense at the time. I guess we will cross that bridge when we get to it." If A&E could get a few of their classic cast members back and find some engaging new buyers, that would not only rekindle the interest of fans in the show, perhaps fans could also ultimately get Storage Wars Season 13. For the time being, however, that is nothing but an assumption. Judging from the current state of things, the show can be likened to so many of the storage units used in the show: abandoned. With all that said, will it be wrong to say Storage Wars is gone forever?